Middle cranial fossa on original skull. It is formed anteriorly by posterior border of lesser wing of sphenoid and anterior clinoid process and sulcus chiasmaticus. Posterior boundary is formed by dorsum celli and superior border of the petrous part of temporal bone, and on the sides by anteroinferior angle of parietal bone and squamous part of temporal bone. This median part or body is called sella turcica. It consists of tuberculum celli. This one is hypophyseal fossa or pituitary fossa, and this is dorsum celli. These are posterior clinoid processes. Now we can see few important foramina in the middle cranial fossa. First of all, this one is superior orbital fissure. Superior orbital fissure is bounded superiorly by the lesser wing of sphenoid, inferiorly by greater wing of sphenoid, and medially by the body of sphenoid. You can see the wire. It leads to orbit. Then foramen rotundum, foramen ovale, foramen spinosum, foramen lacerum, and this one is optic canal. It is bounded anteriorly and posteriorly by the roots of lesser wing of sphenoid and medially by the body of sphenoid. It also leads to orbit. This is anterior surface of the petrous part of temporal bone. Just behind the foramen lacerum, you can see a groove. This groove in black color. This groove leads to foramen lacerum called groove for greater petrosal nerve. And still lateral to it, this part, this groove which leads to foramen ovale is called groove for lesser petrosal nerve. Posterior to foramen lacerum, this impression is for trigeminal ganglion called trigeminal impression. This is arcuate eminence, and this part of bone is called tegmen tympani, which form roof of the middle ear cavity. कलर्स की हेल्प से आप डिफ्रेंशिएट कर सकते हैं डिफरेंट पार्ट्स को. बॉडी ऑफ स्फीनाइड, ग्रेटर विंग ऑफ स्फीनाइड, squamous part of temporal bone, petrous part of temporal bone, and parietal bone and anteroinferior angle of the parietal bone. Tuberculum celli, hypophyseal fossa, dorsum celli, superior orbital fissure, foramen rotundum, foramen ovale, foramen spinosum, foramen lacerum, impression for trigeminal ganglion, hiatus and groove for greater petrosal nerve, hiatus and groove for lesser petrosal nerve, greater wing of sphenoid and superior border of petrous temporal bone and squamous part of temporal bone. Behind the middle cranial fossa, this is posterior cranial fossa. It is largest and deepest of all the three cranial fossa. Posterior cranial fossa is bounded anteriorly by the superior border of the petrous temporal bone on each side and dorsum celli of the sphenoid in the median plane. Posteriorly, it is bounded by squamous part of occipital bone and on each side by the posterior angle, posterior-inferior angle of the parietal bone, which is called mastoid angle, and mastoid part of temporal bone. The floor is formed in the median plane by this sloping surface of bone, which is called clivus, the largest foramen of the skull called foramen magnum, and squamous part of temporal bone. On each side, floor is formed by condylar part of occipital bone, petrous part of temporal bone, mastoid part of temporal bone, and mastoid angle of parietal bone. Clivus is the sloping surface in front of foramen magnum. It is formed by dorsum celli above and basilar part of occipital bone below, and this is suture between the two bones. Oval shaped foramen magnum. Behind the foramen magnum, on the posterior surface, we can see an elevation which is called internal occipital protuberance. Below that, there is a bony ridge which is called internal occipital crest, and depressed area just behind the foramen magnum which is called Vermian fossa. On each side of internal occipital protuberance, we can see a wide and deep sulcus running laterally from each side. This sulcus is called transverse sulcus and it lodges transverse venous sinus. It runs up to posterior or mastoid angle of the parietal bone. In the lateral part of floor of fossa, we can see condylar part of the occipital bone. At the junction of basilar part and condylar part, we can see an elevation. This elevation is called jugular tubercle. The clivus is separated from the petrous part of temporal bone by the petrooccipital fissure, and this fissure lodges the inferior petrosal sinus. Postero-inferior to jugular tubercle, we can see large foramen. This is called anterior condylar canal or hypoglossal canal. This is posterior part of the petrous temporal bone. This is petrooccipital fissure. This opening on the posterior surface is called internal equistic meatus. Posterior to it and below the arcuate eminence, this is called subarcuate fossa. The transverse sulcus runs up to postero-inferior angle of the parietal bone, where it becomes continuous with the S-shaped sulcus which is called sigmoid sulcus. It lodges sigmoid venous sinus and it runs up to jugular foramen. This is large jugular foramen which is present at the posterior end of petrooccipital fissure and anterior to sigmoid sulcus. Mastoid foramen opens in the upper part of the sigmoid sulcus. The same features in the original skull: dorsum celli, basilar part of occipital bone, together they are called clivus, foramen magnum, internal occipital protuberance, transverse sulcus, sigmoid sulcus, internal occipital crest, petrous part of the temporal bone, internal equistic meatus. You can see the wire in the anterior condylar or hypoglossal canal. Now you can see the wire in the jugular foramen. This is internal equistic meatus and this is petrooccipital fissure. Internal occipital protuberance, internal occipital crest. Now some features with the help of atlas. This part is called clivus. This is basilar part of occipital bone. This is condylar part of occipital bone and this is squamous part of occipital bone. Petrous part of temporal bone posterior surface, internal equistic meatus, anterior condylar canal also called hypoglossal canal, jugular tubercle, large jugular foramen, sigmoid sulcus, mastoid foramen, transverse sulcus, internal occipital protuberance, internal occipital crest, Vermian fossa, foramen magnum, postero-inferior angle or mastoid angle of the parietal bone, mastoid part of temporal bone and squamous part of occipital bone. This was all about the cranial cavity, bony features of cranial cavity.